My mother died of breast cancer. She was the kind of person that hit her head in the sand. When she finally decided to do anything, it was too late. The cancer had progressed. I didn't have a mom, so it was my biggest fear to one day get cancer. That was like my worst nightmare.
I do remember my mom going to the doctor after finding something herself.
He couldn't feel the lump. I felt the lump. He could not feel the lump.
And I remember her getting that call.
It was my husband and I really don't have any memory of anybody else in the room, but there probably was.
I saw her face, and I knew right when I saw it on her face that it was not good.
My name is Mike Rogers.
My name's Alexis Rogers.
The way I found out my wife had contracted breast cancer was actually an accident.
Mom was always fun. I mean, that was my best friend. We talked about everything. She used to say, "Oh, Alexis, you're so much like your dad," but then my dad would say, "You're so much like your mom." And the truth is, they were a lot like each other. But she always found time to hang out with me. And so that never stopped. Even as I grew up, you know, she just continued to be my best friend.
There was a registered letter that came to the house, and I gave it to her. When she came home, I just noticed she never opened it. A couple days later, I looked at the letter, and that's how I discovered she had breast cancer.
We grew up in one of those households, you know, what happened in the house stayed in the house.
I think she was shocked. She was angry.
I started to notice that she was getting tired a lot.
And once I just let her know that, you know, you can't do this alone. I'm here with you. I've always been with you. And once she recognized that, she allowed me to be a complete part of it.
And my dad was taking my sisters and I to the circus, and my mom decided not to go, and so we just figured she was tired. And Dad, he handed me the letter, and it said Elicia Rogers had breast cancer.
She didn't really want to tell the other two kids about the cancer until it was just necessary.
If there could be a good thing about cancer, mine was at least slow growing. So I did go through losing my hair and all that you have to go through.
I didn't go with my mom to chemo or radiation, and so I wasn't with my mom when she would go have those things done, and I did not want to accept that.
Elicia, she was a teenager at the time, but it's not that she didn't care, because she did care. But her way of handling it was she didn't want to handle it. 11 years later, I have no health problems.
I know she very easily could have died, and to have her here with me is one of the greatest gifts I could have ever been given.
When you've gone through something like this, it really lets you know that life is precious, and I do live life to its fullest. I love the outdoors and paddleboarding. I just cherish every moment.
There's something about a mother and a daughter relationship. You know, someday when I do have children, I'm just going to have so much joy seeing her with my children as a grandmother, and something that I know my mother didn't get. If your parent is going through cancer, be there for your parent and to love them in that time and in every moment that you can, because you don't know when that will be taken away from you. And you don't want that regret.
She never suffered much. She never lost any hair, lost a little weight. But when she got very ill, it was, man, less than 3-4 days when she got to the emergency room.
I just remember walking to the ICU unit, and she calmed down enough as she saw me, and she was so excited to see me, and we just looked at each other. And she said, "Alexis, I love you so much."
And probably 5 minutes after that, she had never spoken another word.
And then the next day, she was gone.
We had so many great times, and that's what I kind of focus on, all the good things that we had. I mean, 23 wonderful years, and that's what you do through these things, I guess. I guess, you know, if I had to give anybody advice, especially a spouse or the close family around, you know, I'd say just be there for them, you know.
This is my mom, Lisa, and this was my superhero. This is my best friend.
There's a lot of unimportant things that I think we do, but that closeness and that togetherness and being there for each other is probably the biggest thing that could ever happen, you know. And just be there for each other, because that's really important.